Over 2,000 years ago, the Chinese created one of the greatest marvels of the ancient world, thousands of terracotta warriors.
For centuries, the Terracotta Army has guarded its secrets beneath the soil of Xi'an, standing as one of history's greatest archaeological wonders. Yet, in 2025, cutting-edge AI technology was deployed to scan these silent warriors, and the results left experts stunned. What was uncovered wasn't just about craftsmanship or ancient artistry. It revealed hidden truths that challenge everything we thought we knew about China's first emperor and his empire.
For the past half a century, an ancient army of warriors has been quietly conquering the world. Wherever small battalions of China's famous terracotta warriors are exhibited, they win over a new legion of fans.
But could this discovery really rewrite history itself? What shocking secrets did the AI expose within the Terracotta Army? An army frozen in stone. Qin Shi Huang. The name itself carries the weight of an empire. China's first emperor, a man who unified warring states and built monuments so vast they defied belief, also left behind something no ruler before or after ever attempted: an army of stone buried in silence for more than 2 millennia. To the naked eye, the Terracotta Army seems like a breathtaking work of funerary devotion. Thousands of clay soldiers frozen mid-march, their faces eerily lifelike, their formations perfect. But in 2025, when artificial intelligence scanned these figures with precision beyond any human eye, the silence of this army began to speak. The AI revealed what history books could never capture. At microscopic levels, traces of pigments clung stubbornly to the clay. Reds, blues, greens, and golds that once painted the warriors in dazzling brilliance. Imagine a vast underground chamber not of dull grey statues, but of a radiant legion shimmering with colour, like an eternal army caught in the glow of dawn. These were not crude representations, they were masterpieces, designed to overwhelm and terrify. But the scans uncovered something even more unsettling. Tiny particles of iron and bronze residues fused into the clay itself indicated that many of these warriors once held real weapons. Functional blades, sharpened to kill. Some residues showed patterns of wear, suggesting those weapons weren't merely ceremonial, but may have seen actual combat before burial. This discovery twists the meaning of the Terracotta Army. Were they symbolic guardians, or soldiers who carried into the afterlife the weight of real battles fought in life? Then came the revelation that stunned archaeologists the most. The eye detected faint traces of organic matter embedded within the clay, compounds not of stone, but of flesh. They were so microscopic they would have been missed by traditional analysis, yet their presence hinted at something unthinkable. Did the craftsmen leave fragments of themselves in the clay through sweat and blood? Or did Qin Shi Huang demand something darker, binding human essence deliberately into the soldiers to grant them a lifelike presence that would transcend death? Further scans revealed irregularities in certain statues. While the majority followed standardized molds, some bore strikingly unique features: crooked noses, lined foreheads, scars etched into lips. Too detailed, too personal to be mere artistic variation. They looked less like imagined warriors and more like portraits of real individuals. Could these have been honored generals immortalized in clay? Or prisoners of war, condemned to serve their conqueror for eternity in a form they could never escape? Qin Shi Huang's obsession with immortality was legendary. He ingested mercury, sent emissaries to mythical islands, and constructed a tomb designed to mirror the cosmos. But perhaps his greatest experiment lay in this army, an attempt to anchor life itself within stone, to make men into eternal watchers. So what if these warriors weren't guarding an emperor, but trapping something far more dangerous within his tomb? Stay with us. The chilling discovery that followed changes everything. The Ghost Army Unearthed. March 1974. The sun beat down on a parched field near the village of Xi'an in Shaanxi province as farmers dug a simple well in search of water. They struck something hard. At first, it seemed like just another stone, but soon fragments began to emerge. Pieces of terracotta shaped like hands, a head split down the middle, broken shards of armor. One of the men, Yang Jifa, later recalled how he tossed the fragments aside, unaware that he had stumbled onto one of the greatest archaeological discoveries in human history. What they had uncovered was no ordinary ruin. Beneath their quiet fields slept an army. The discovery spread quickly. Archaeologists arrived and began excavating with disbelief. Life-sized warriors standing in precise battle formation, faces so detailed they seemed alive, weapons at the ready as if awaiting a command that would never come. Pit after pit revealed rank upon rank of soldiers, archers, cavalrymen, charioteers, and generals, over 7,000 in total. It was as if Qin Shi Huang's ghost army had been hidden in the earth for 2,000 years, waiting for the world to remember them. At first glance, the army seemed a triumph of mass production. Thousands of statues, each cast in sections and assembled like clay puzzles. Yet AI analysis in 2025 shattered the illusion of uniformity. By scanning the composition of unearthed fragments at microscopic levels, researchers found remarkable precision in the clay itself. The mixture of loess, soil, ground quartz, and kaolin wasn't random. It was standardized across thousands of statues, suggesting a sophisticated industrial process far ahead of its time. The emperor hadn't just built an army, he had created one of the earliest examples of assembly line engineering. But hidden in the data were anomalies that raised more questions than answers. While most warriors were stamped from molds, a handful bore irregularities so subtle they could easily have been dismissed. AI imaging detected faint inconsistencies in facial symmetry, bone structure, even ear shapes, details too specific to be accidental. These weren't random artistic flourishes, they were markers of individuality. Take, for example, a kneeling archer. His lips carried a faint scar, mirrored in the clay like a ghost of flesh. Another figure had slightly uneven cheekbones, the kind seen in real human faces, but rarely in stylized art. One general's stern expression bore such minute asymmetry that the AI reconstructed him as nearly identical to a real living man. Were these statues modeled on actual individuals? If so, then the Terracotta Army was not a faceless legion. It was a portrait gallery of flesh and blood people, immortalized in clay. The AI's findings suggest that while common soldiers were mass-produced, commanders and elites may have been sculpted with unnerving accuracy, down to their scars and wrinkles. Each one may have carried the essence of someone who once stood at Qin Shi Huang's side, or someone who dared to defy him. This reframes the farmer's discovery in a chilling new light. When Yang Jifa pulled broken heads from the soil, he wasn't just disturbing artifacts. He was unearthing echoes of real men, sealed into silence for eternity. Every statue wasn't just a guardian, but possibly a stolen identity, a life frozen at the emperor's command. The more we study the fragments, the less the Terracotta Army seems like a symbolic afterlife garrison. Instead, it begins to resemble something more intimate and unsettling. A human record carved into stone. AI has peeled back the uniform mask of history to show that within this army of clay are fingerprints of individuality. Faces that may once have breathed, fought, and bled. So the question lingers: were these warriors true guardians, or souls trapped forever in an empire of clay? Stay with us, because what AI uncovered in the Forbidden Tomb is even darker. The Forbidden Tomb and its traps. At the heart of the terracotta complex lies the most mysterious chamber of all, the mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang himself. Unlike the pits filled with warriors, this vast tomb has never been opened. For decades, archaeologists hesitated, not out of neglect, but out of fear. Ancient records warned of rivers of mercury, booby traps, and mechanisms designed to kill intruders even centuries after the emperor's death. Until recently, these warnings sounded like legend. Then AI scans began to probe beneath the Earth. Ground-penetrating radar and deep imaging algorithms revealed a subterranean labyrinth far more intricate than anyone had imagined. The AI mapped not just chambers and corridors, but anomalies, dense pockets of metal, unusual voids, and structures arranged with mathematical precision. What should have been a simple burial site resembled something more like a fortress, complete with multiple layers of defense. One of the most startling findings was the detection of abnormally high mercury levels. Soil analysis had already hinted at contamination, but the AI imaging painted a far clearer picture. Concentrations forming deliberate patterns, as if vast underground rivers had been engineered to flow around the chamber. The design mirrored descriptions written over 2,000 years ago by the historian Xi'an, who claimed the tomb contained rivers of liquid mercury representing the seas and waterways of China. Modern science now confirms that these rivers aren't symbolic. They're toxic barriers, carefully constructed to deter anyone from breaching the emperor's resting place. But the scans also revealed something stranger. Magnetic anomalies around certain passageways suggested the presence of concealed mechanisms, possibly primitive traps. While wood and iron may have decayed, the layout indicates corridors designed to funnel intruders toward dead ends or chambers where the air itself could become poisonous. It was as if the entire tomb was less a burial chamber and more a living system, designed to repel, injure, or even kill those who dared disturb it. This raises a chilling reinterpretation of the Terracotta Army itself. If the emperor engineered his mausoleum as a deadly trap, then perhaps the warriors above weren't merely standing guard. Their positioning may have been part of a containment system, an outer shell of silence protecting an inner core of danger. For 2,000 years, the world believed the army's purpose was to shield the emperor in the afterlife. But AI now suggests another possibility. Maybe they were placed there to make sure no one ever set him free. So what exactly lies sealed inside this forbidden tomb? Treasures of immortality, or something meant never to escape? Stay with us, because the faces inside the clay may hold the next clue. Faces of the Forgotten. When the Terracotta Army was first unearthed, one detail astonished archaeologists above all others. No two faces were alike. Thousands of warriors, yet each with distinct features, different jawlines, eyes, expressions, even hairstyles.
Like real soldiers, also they have different facial features. You can tell from their hairstyle, their we call headgears, and they can tell their different ranks.
For decades, scholars argued whether this was simply artistic variety or something more deliberate. In 2025, artificial intelligence gave us an answer, and it was more unsettling than anyone expected. AI imaging, capable of detecting micro-asymmetries invisible to the human eye, revealed that certain statues bore characteristics too precise to be random. A scar etched across the lips of one archer matched patterns consistent with real human injury. Another figure showed slightly uneven cheekbones, the kind seen in actual bone structures. A commander's face, reconstructed in 3 dimensions, was so eerily lifelike that experts concluded it had to be modeled directly on a real person. These weren't generic soldiers, they were portraits. This discovery reframes the Terracotta Army in a disturbing light. While lower-ranked warriors may have been standardized using molds, the commanders, those who stood closest to the emperor, were crafted with uncanny individuality. The AI identified variations in skin texture, eye depth, and even subtle signs of aging. Each statue seemed less like an anonymous tribute and more like a frozen biography. Were these Qin generals immortalized in clay to ensure their loyalty in death? Or were enemies captured, humiliated, and condemned to serve their conqueror for eternity? The scans uncovered something even darker. Within the porous clay of certain statues, AI detected faint traces of organic material, compounds too complex to be explained away by soil contamination. These were biological remnants, molecular fingerprints of life. The conclusion shocked researchers. It was possible that artisans mixed human matter into the clay itself. Whether it came from the bodies of the dead, sacrifices made during construction, or fragments of the workers who labored until exhaustion, the effect would have been the same, binding life and death together in stone. Imagine what that means. Every commander's statue was not just a likeness, but a vessel, holding within it a literal trace of humanity. Qin Shi Huang's obsession with immortality suddenly seems less mythical and more macabre. If he could not drink the elixir of life, perhaps he sought another path, to trap fragments of real people within his army, ensuring their essence would never fade. The Terracotta Army, once thought to be a lifeless legion, begins to resemble something closer to an eternal prison of souls. The chilling implication is unavoidable. These warriors are not only guardians of the emperor's tomb, they are the forgotten faces of men who once lived, now bound forever in silence. So what if the secret of immortality wasn't a potion, but a cruel fusion of flesh and clay? Stay with us, because the emperor's final gamble may reveal the answer. The emperor's last gamble. Qin Shi Huang was not just the first emperor of China. He was a man consumed by one singular obsession: immortality. History records his relentless pursuit of elixirs, his desperate expeditions to mythical islands, and his reckless consumption of mercury in hopes of defeating death. Yet behind these legends lay something more calculated, something revealed only now by artificial intelligence. The AI reinterprets his legacy, not as a man merely pursuing eternal life, but as an emperor who perhaps sought to engineer it into being. The mausoleum's layout, when mapped with precision algorithms, revealed astonishing symmetry. Corridors aligned with celestial constellations. The positioning of certain pits mirrored ancient cosmological charts, suggesting the tomb was designed not just as a grave, but as a ritual machine. AI even detected geometric patterns beneath the surface that matched calculations used in early astronomy. Was Qin Shi Huang attempting to bind himself to the stars, locking his spirit into the eternal cycles of the heavens? Then came the most unsettling revelation. Data drawn from the Terracotta Army's arrangement showed deliberate clustering of figures in formations that resembled more than military ranks. The distribution of commanders, archers, and cavalry seemed to encode mathematical sequences eerily similar to ancient divination charts used in the I Ching, China's Book of Changes. This wasn't random. It suggested the emperor believed he could program eternity itself, embedding cosmic laws into the very fabric of his tomb. But immortality, for Qin Shi Huang, wasn't just about his own survival. AI pattern recognition suggested that the emperor's final gamble involved others, the generals, artisans, and possibly even captives immortalized in clay. By embedding organic traces within the warriors, as revealed earlier, he may have believed he was trapping not only their likenesses, but their very essence. His empire wasn't just built on conquest. It was designed to persist beyond death, an eternal dominion with the emperor at its center. The rivers of mercury detected beneath the tomb add another layer to this gamble. Not only would the toxic flows protect the chamber from intruders, but some scientists speculate that Qin believed mercury itself held properties of vitality and power. To him, it may have been less poison and more elixir, flowing endlessly like veins of immortality around his body in death. The picture that emerges is chilling. Qin Shi Huang's mausoleum was not just a burial site, but a final experiment, a gamble to cheat death by turning his empire into a self-sustaining machine of eternity, one powered by the stars, fueled by mercury, and guarded by an army of men who may have been unwillingly bound into stone. Yet the AI's findings leave us with a question that is as unsettling as it is inevitable. Did Qin Shi Huang succeed in his quest? Or is the Terracotta Army proof that his immortality came at a cost too terrible to comprehend? Stay with us, because the hidden purpose of this army may be darker still. Beyond guardianship, the hidden purpose. For generations, the Terracotta Army has been admired as a grand statement of devotion. Thousands of clay soldiers carved to protect China's first emperor in the afterlife.
This is the Terracotta Army. 8,000 warriors buried over 2,000 years ago. One of the greatest wonders of the world.
They were thought to be symbols of loyalty, guardianship, and imperial might, frozen forever in formation. But AI shattered that narrative. The scans unearthed a possibility so unsettling that it redefined the very purpose of the army. These warriors may not have been created to guard the emperor at all. They may have been constructed to guard against him. The AI scans, fed with spatial and compositional data, uncovered something archaeologists had overlooked for decades. The placement of the warriors, once considered a demonstration of military order, revealed a deeper logic. Their positions formed concentric defensive barriers, layers upon layers of human-shaped walls encircling the tomb. This was not merely artistry, it was engineering. The Terracotta Army resembled not an escort, but a cage, an impenetrable barrier designed to contain whatever lay buried beneath. Supporting this theory were the strange anomalies in the surrounding soil. High concentrations of mercury had long been interpreted as a symbolic river, an imitation of the celestial waterways described by ancient historians. But AI analysis suggested deliberate containment. The mercury levels were too systematic, distributed as if to form a toxic moat. Combined with advanced drainage systems, these features gave the tomb the qualities of a sealed vault, one meant to resist intrusion and prevent escape. More startling still were the magnetic field distortions detected around the burial mound. Subtle, irregular fluctuations matched the geometric patterns of the warriors' formation. To AI, this arrangement appeared deliberate, akin to the design of a containment field. It was as if the army itself was part of a vast machine, its soldiers not only symbolic but functional, locking the emperor's tomb within layers of invisible force. And this raised the most haunting possibility of all. Qin Shi Huang was obsessed with immortality, endlessly searching for ways to preserve his essence. If he truly believed he had trapped part of his spirit, or something darker, within his mausoleum, then perhaps the Terracotta Army was not there to serve him in the afterlife. Perhaps they were there to keep what he had become sealed away from the world. The individualized features of some warriors only deepen the unease. If real men were immortalized in clay, were they chosen not as guardians but as eternal wardens, condemned to hold their posts forever? The organic traces AI identified hint at rituals that blurred the line between sculpture and sacrifice. If human essence was bound into terracotta, then this was not simply an army of statues. It was a prison force, living memory transfigured into stone, set to contain an emperor whose hunger for eternity may have gone too far. The revelation reframes the Terracotta Army from a masterpiece of funerary art into something far more ominous. The largest containment system in human history. Not a symbol of power, but a warning. Not guardianship, but imprisonment. And at the heart of it all lies a single, unanswered question. Was the army built to protect Qin Shi Huang in death, or to protect the living from what he left behind? So, what if the Terracotta Army wasn't just built to serve in the afterlife, but to keep a secret from ever escaping? We'd like to hear your thoughts below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.